The Adventures of Haddenbrough. Written and illustrated by Ken Wilson. There once was a young boy named Nicholas, who lived in the small village of Haddenbrough. His home was a castle surrounded by a huge lake and a forest. Nicholas lived with parents King Nathans and Queen Bernice. They ruled the village and were loved and respected by all people who lived there. Nicholas spent most of his childhood as normal as any child in the village. The only difference was, when he reached a certain age and was ready to participate with the knights of the village, he would have to prove himself to the elders. Nicholas had to prove he was responsible enough to put the king's realm under his protection. Earlier than expected, Judgment Day arrived. Suddenly, the coat of arms medallion was stolen. The velvet box in which it was kept was now empty. The coat of arms medallion was of ancient powers handed down from ancestors of the village. It contained knowledge of great strengths. Demister, sorcerer of Alcan, had been cast away from the village for powers for terrible acts. Demister swore to the king of Haddenbrough that he would return and take the coat of arms medallion. Nicholas heard the medallion was stolen and was instantly ready for the long journey to Demister's castle. Nicholas did not want anyone to know what he was going to do. To him, it was a large task, a voyage he'd never done before. He never thought of doing anything like this before. He never left the village grounds ever. So that night, after everyone went to sleep, Nicholas slipped out carrying his bag of food and supplies. Nicholas was nervous and excited all at the same time. To him, this was very challenging. As night approached, Nicholas was on his way outside the castle in the village grounds. Nervously he walked. He was amazed at how bright the moon glowed on everything as it lit his path. Walking for hours, Nicholas became very tired and hungry. He also had a restless feeling as if someone was watching him, but being tired was more important than being watched. So he snuggled up to a tree and went to sleep. Morning came quickly. As the sun rose up the horizon, it awakened Nicholas, and he felt as if it was a warm blanket. Nicholas sat up, and as soon as he did, a furry creature knocked him down. Nicholas, stunned, looked up at the creature, not knowing what to expect next. It finally said, "I'm Bear. Who are you?" Nicholas replied, "I'm Nicholas. Glad to meet you. I've been watching you stumble around here. You're new here. I've never seen you. Are you lost?" asked Bear. "No, I'm not lost. Yes, this place is very new to me. I'm here to prove I'm a man and rescue the coat of arms medallion. It was stolen from our village," said Nicholas. "Wow, sounds exciting. What is the coat of arms medallion? Where would you go to rescue it?" said Bear. "The coat of arms medallion is a source of power handed down from generation to generation from my ancestors. It contains power of great knowledge and great strength. It was to be used only by persons of wisdom and kind hearts. In the wrong hands, it could be a very bad thing," said Nicholas. "Wow. Where do you have to go to get this medallion?" asked Bear. "Demister's castle," said Nicholas. "Oh man, Demister's castle. Demister's the one that drove most of the animals away from the forest. He's been a terror to every living thing," said Bear. "We know him well," Bear said. "But that's where I have to go to rescue the medallion," said Nicholas. "Well, okay, I'll go. Just consider me your new friend. There's only one thing. Demister's pet. It's a dragon. We'll have to stick close together," said Bear. So along they went. No other questions were asked, both happy to have a companion. Nicholas still felt nervous because his new friend was so large, but he knew in his heart he was safe and everything would be okay now. Off they went, eating what Nicholas packed in his bag An apple for Bear, bread and meat for Nicholas. To quench their thirst, a nice cold stream. Bear lived in the woods all his life, so he knew the forest well. With Bear's guidance, Nicholas was on the right path. Bear had turned out to be a very unpredictable animal, and very silly. So Nicholas's journey went from very alarming to a kind of amusing experience. Bear also at times could be aggravating, but to Nicholas, it was better than being alone. As Nicholas and Bear neared Demester's castle, in an opening of the woods, tall grass, they heard a horrible growl. Bear groaned. "I know that sound anywhere," said Bear. "It's Pet, Demester's dragon. What are we going to do now?" asked Nicholas. He knew by the sounds he was hearing and the way Bear was acting, this was very serious. Steadily, but softly, they walked. The closer they got, the louder the sounds were. Nicholas was feeling very homesick at that moment. "I want to go home," Bear replied. "Don't worry, Nick. I'm here. I'll protect you." "It's Demester's dragon," Bear said, jumping behind Nicholas. "Come on, Bear. Don't hide. Remember, we're with each other," said Nicholas. Very slowly and carefully, Nicholas approached Pet and started talking to him. Bear was amazed. The dragon was starting to relax and was becoming friendly with Nicholas. Nicholas was trying to calm the dragon down long enough to communicate with him. At first, the dragon had one thing in mind, and that was to destroy the visitors. This all seemed very odd to Bear. Indeed, during all the years, Pet had cruelly tormented the forest animals. Confused and amazed, Bear stood beside Nicholas, listening to Pet talking. He listened to the story of how Demester had mistreated him and made him prisoner. Pet explained that he was not a dragon and was really a deer. "One day I was walking through the forest and stopped at an appetizing fruit tree. I took a bite of the berries on the tree. I continued my walk and started to feel strange. I felt like I was growing. Then, in an instant, a dragon. I was a dragon. Demester appeared before me and said, 'You will be my personal watchdog and live never like you once were.' But I knew if I had Demester's magical cane, I could somehow return to my original self." Pet, realizing why Nicholas and Bear had come to Demester's castle, said, "I'll help you if you help me. If you get that medallion and the magical cane, we both will accomplish our goals, and I could change into my real self." So they all agreed. Bear unchained Pet, and they all entered Demester's cold, dark castle. As Nicholas, Bear, and Pet enters Demester's castle, slowly, the doors behind them slammed shut. The rats on the floor ran from the disturbance they had created. Torches hanging from the castle walls mystically lit the hallway. Pet led the way. "This way. I know where the medallion is kept," said Pet. Little did they know, Demester knew of their existence. His cane, the cane of 4 skulls, revealed their presence and the reason why they were there, since Demester kept a close watch. "Halt!" said Demester, bursting out of the dark hallway. He raised his magical cane, aiming at Nicholas. At the same time, Pet sprayed a shooting blow of fire at Demester, hitting his cane and causing the cane to explode. "No!" groaned Demester as he fell backward onto the floor. Green, slimy fluid splattered out of the magical cane and spilled into the castle's floor, causing cracks in the floor, and the cracks started to widen. The floor shook. The walls in the castle began to split. Nicholas yelled, "The castle's crumbling! Everybody out!" Running through the hallway, Nicholas, Bear, and Pet fought their way through the falling brick, debris, and stone. The 3 sped through the doors and ran as far as they could from the falling castle. Once they were clear of the castle, Nicholas, Bear, and Pet were all out of breath, but safe. They looked at each other with terror. Pet was horrified. The magical cane was the only tool of hope he had to change him back. He knew the castle had crumbled into ruins with the magical cane inside. He was going to stay. Was he going to stay, remain a dragon forever? What is he going to get? Where is he going to get help from here? Quickly, Nicholas raised his arms. In his one hand was the coat of arms medallion, which had the powers to do good and restore Pet to his original self. With one wave of the medallion, Pet was now a deer. "Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Bear. Thank you," said Pet the deer. "Let's go home," said Bear. Nicholas felt sad at having left Demister to perish in the crumbling castle. Bear declared, "Demister was a horrible person. He knew what he was doing. Demister had a worthy magical talent, but he used it against the honest and helpless. Demister could have used his wisdom to help the village. Instead, he was selfish. Demister's selfishness will destroy him someday. But Nicholas, Demister got away," said Bear. "I don't think we've seen the end of him. Just remember, be honest, caring, unselfish. You won't end up like Demister. Let's go home," said Bear. Nicholas, Bear, and Pet the deer promised to stay friends and visit each other often. Because Demister was gone, all the animals returned to the forest. Bear and his animal friends could feel safe again. Pet was himself again. Nicholas had proven that he was a young man. When Nicholas reached the village, the king and queen were waiting. They were two very worried parents. "We should be angry at you and think of some kind of punishment," the king said. "But because of what you have accomplished, this calls for a celebration." The next day, the castle of Haddenbrough and the courtyard were filled with fun, food, and forest animals. At the end of the day, the elders and knights were voted Nicholas to be the mightiest knight, mightiest of them all. Nicholas said, "I can't wait till my next adventure." The end. Written and illustrated by Ken Wilson. Editing help by Renee Wilson. Thank you for listening. Just some information. This book is actually written and illustrated by my dad. Was edited by my sister, and I'm wanted to just do justice to it. And I hope you enjoyed the story. My dad worked on it for a very long time, and I'm very proud of him. Thank you.